Hey guys, so where do I even begin? It's been a wild life. So where I last left off, I was just emerging out of emotional stagnation and continuing along the healing process from what I call the dark night of the soul, which was induced by the twin flame experience that I had back in 2014. Now, this is actually part of a greater cycle that has been going on since about 2012, and I even think it could be even part of a larger cycle within that. But this whole dissolution series of events, the series of events that led to this dissolution of ego, of false pride, of certain belief structures, relationship ideals, timeline theories, and just different modes of perception and different lenses to see. A lot of the false ideals kind of fell away with this this processing, this psychological refinement process that I've been going through. And I feel that it has greatly propelled me forward, even though for the past 2 years, 2 to 4 years, I have felt extremely stuck and sick and, or ill, I should say, and just not well, overall not well. And I think a lot of that has to do with being psychically attacked because of the twin flame experience. I do believe that I have read places where there have been reports of people being attacked, specifically twin flames being attacked by dark forces in order to pull them apart so that they don't unite and come to fruition and serve their purpose as twin flames on the planet, which is a huge deal because the twin flame energy is that refined, sensual, sexual energy, the convergence of that energy, the Shiva, Shakti, Kundalini, Prana channel, that is connected on a multidimensional level, and that's the purpose of twin flames, is to unite and kind of be that counterbalance for each other so that it can rapidly expand the energy field around them, which perpetuates outward into other people's lives. However, coming in as twin flames, we knew that we would be faced with a lot of opposition, and like I said, I've read stories and accounts where it's been, something similar, and I feel that I have directly experienced this, but I have also learned so much through a different perspective, after, going through all of this, and the necklace that he gave me, I went to Burning Man my first time. It was amazing, but I went to Burning Man, and every day I would go to the temple and be like, I'm gonna leave this. I kept telling my friend, I'm gonna leave this here because I need to let go of some things, I need to let it out. And every day I would go and I'd be like, just put this back on, fuck away, whatever. And finally, on Saturday, the day before they burned the temple, I went in. I was like, today's the day, I'm gonna do it. I have to do this. And I wasn't really sure why I was doing it. I just know that it was to let go, you know, that's the main reason, was to let go. I didn't have any, you know, hopes or desires or anything that would come from it, you know. There's nothing left to have but letting go of the process, letting go of the expectations, letting go of the desire, letting go of the unfulfillment, that energy of you know, knowing something and not being able to experience it. So I had to let go of that. I had to let go of the significance of the physicality of the pendant. And it took me a minute to really let it go. I sat there and I cried so hard. I cried harder for that than any other day I went to the temple and cried, you know, which is kind of silly because there are people crying over people who've passed away or people they've lost, and I've lost people, but they've always still been around, you know, whether through dreams or through visions or just feeling, you know, feeling like someone's still around, like my mother. She's very much around me still, through my dreams, through synchronicity, through, you know, certain songs coming on. It's that remembrance. It feels good when she's around. I can feel her energy. And with my twin flame, it's like I've been cut off from that energy. It's like I'm not allowed to go forth and even just experience friendship with my twin flame, and there's always some sort of roadblock or distance between us. And so it felt really weird, like, you know, I could be experiencing time on this planet with this person, but I'm almost held back from it for some reason. And my belief is psychic attack, but, you know, it could also be just my belief structures. You know, I'm open to viewing different problems and different solutions from different perspectives because it aids in my advancement, and it doesn't box me into one mindset. You know, it helps me expand my mindset and be open to the multidimensionality of what we're existing in. So through that experience, I didn't really think I was going to start talking about twin flames on this video, but I guess that happens always. Anyways, so I let it go. I let it go. And I feel really good. You know, I feel like I had been praying. So prior to that, I've been praying really, really hard because I had fallen ill. You know, I had digestive issues, you know, sacral chakra issues. I became unwell from not being able to experience this passion that I've had for this person, you know, this soul that I've known forever, that I feel like I've known forever. And so the past 2 years, I've been kind of like, I've been unwell, you know, and that's why I haven't really been making a lot of videos or, you know, keeping up with you guys, because people didn't even recognize me. Like, people would see me and they would be like, whoa, like, Missy? And be like, yeah. So I've been working on myself. I've been working really, really, really hard, and I finally hit this level up. I finally realized that I hit the level up at Symbiosis. And festivals, oh my gosh, festivals have becoming more and more of initiatory experiences. You know, I'll go and I'll immerse myself into a psychedelic experience, and then I will realize all of this multidimensional, you know, other realm stuff that correlates to my ascension path, but also to my story, you know, not just to ascension on a multidimensional level within parallel lives and parallel experiences on different layers of reality, but also to my individual story as Missy with an ego. So it's really exciting, and you know, I've been working really hard, and I thought, you know, like, I thought life was going, you know, but really I was like going over these speed bumps and like gaining momentum to go, you know, just like perpetuate forward or propel forward into this healing, revitalizing feeling of just reintegration, remembrance of what I've been working so hard towards, because I was losing sight of that as I had fallen ill, or had wasn't able to experience my sensuality and my sexuality in a healthy way. And I was building up all this tension and frustration and angst, and it was all from passion that I had not been able to fully experience, to fully immerse myself in. And so I prayed, and I had a DMT experience at Burning Man. It was on Sunday before the temple burn. I won't go into full details, but I got a gift, and my gift has been trickling its way into my actual day-to-day experience. And it has a lot to do with dreams, and it has a lot to do with sight, and something I have been developing for a really long time. And as I realize more what time is, I've been realizing that I've been experiencing it simultaneously throughout my life. So as I am initiated, I am already initiated, and that initiated self from the future is contacting myself throughout my life, which is now in the form of memories to me, that experience that has passed. So future initiated Missy has been contacting past self Missy in order for me to even go through the initiation. Crazy stuff. But and then there's also past lives. Like it's multidimensional in every aspect. It's kind of crazy. If you don't understand the ascension process or even the psychedelic process. But my dreams have been coming true. And I've always, not always, but always since maybe 3-4 years ago, about 3.5 years ago, since I had a dream, and it was like a red car in real life, but in my dream it was a red something. And I remember seeing it, and it was a red something, it was a something, but in real life it was a car. And I knew, I think that was like the trigger, that was like the sense of almost like a deja vu of, hey, this happened before, pay attention. And then I started recognizing the patterns. And then I started recognizing the symbols, the archetypes, the themes, and the dialogue. And the dialogue, when you are learning a new language, you learn how certain sentences are structured, and how language flows fluently so that you are able to speak in a dialect within their own context. And that's how the subconscious works with the conscious mind, of when you are observing your dreams, when the dreamer wakes within the dream. And that is through symbolism, pictures. The subconscious speaks through pictures. And so through my efforts of decoding the symbolism within the subconscious mind, it has been revealed to me that I have had precognition for a really long time. And I remember in like 3rd or 4th grade, we were reading a story, and this kid drives by something, by a mailbox, and at the end of the story, the mailbox has this letter from his dad who died, and the story foreshadows this mailbox event. And it was my favorite thing. I was like, I love foreshadowing. Foreshadowing is the coolest thing, and I never knew why, Just like when I was in, I don't know, like 5th or 6th grade playing Halo on the Xbox, and I wouldn't shoot anybody. I would go stand at the top of the hill and use my sniper vision to look at both sides of Valhalla and see where everybody was at. I would call myself the Oracle Monkey. And so, another hint of precognition. And there are other series of just memories that I've had that have signified moments of my future, like 3rd grade, I was writing an essay and I got an A+ on it, and I was like, I'm gonna be a writer. And then when I was in high school, wrote, really good paper, I'm gonna be a writer, So, and, never after high school, I, did things and, never wanted to be a writer. I wanted to be a makeup artist. I wanted to be a cosmetologist. I wanted to go to school for archaeology. I wanted to do all these things and never did them. But I mean, I did makeup artistry school, but that doesn't count for some people. But anyways, so so I've had these gifts of precognition, and my dreams have been revealing themselves to me, not indirectly anymore, not through symbolism, but actual, I see it in my dream, I see an elephant in my dream, and then I see an elephant in actual reality. Yeah, I mean, well, okay, that's a bad example, because it wasn't actual reality. I saw the elephant on my DMT experience, but there was a dream that I had at Symbiosis Gathering, where I was hanging out with my good friend Chelsea, and we were walking around, and she gives me something, and I was weary. I was like, I don't know. And then turns out these 2 guys were chasing me around, and all these crazy, it was a crazy vibe. And this wasp stings me in my knuckle. And oh man, I can't even remember the rest of it, but those were the significant parts. And then the next day at Symbiosis, I see my friend Chelsea. She's there, and she's like, hey, let's hang out. And I was like, yeah, let's hang out, but I don't want to hang out right now. I'm going to go wander and do my thing. And then, so we didn't hang out. And then the next day after that, my friend was talking to me about how he punched someone in the mouth one time and got the teeth caught on his knuckle, and his knuckle was all bloody. And then that same afternoon, I was hanging out with my friend Brian. We were sitting by the juke stage, or the lagoon stage, or whatever it's called, and we were sitting on the ground, and I looked down, and there's a little wasp, and he's trying to fly away, and he can't fly away because his wing is broken. And he was like, we're on the middle of a dance floor, so I was like, scooped him up on a little napkin or plate or whatever, and I ran him over and I put him in the tree, and I was like, wait a second, my dream, this was my dream, how weird, super weird. And so that's the second dream that I've had that has actually been the same in dream context and in real life. So I'm exploring that ability, that enhancement, and I don't know if this is the proper medium to talk on, via the internet, but I feel that this information needs to be out there for people who are having multidimensional experiences, who are going through transition. Know that, your perception of time, your perception of your dreams will be shifting in accordance to your multidimensional range. So, and the thing is, you might not always be sensitive in the physical, in the physical aspect, but the idea is to recognize and just to develop your sensibility, develop your sensitivity to energy, to auras, to your chakras and alignment, to foods. And for me, I was vegetarian, and then I started eating meat again, went through that really, when I started eating meat, I was really, really, drilling myself down, grounding down. and now I'm vegetarian again with the occasional meat. So I guess I can't consider myself a vegetarian, but occasional meat eater for protein substance, and but I'm also looking into new ways to gain protein in a healthy, considerable way, you know. But there is something about animal protein that really revitalizes me. It's a high content protein, but I'm also learning how to get that same protein feeling through other proteins such as spirulina and stuff like that. I've taken spirulina before, but it was never in a high content amount, so I'm working on that. What else? Oh man, I've been doing a lot of art. I've been teaching myself piano and getting into music, which is one of the huge staples on my path because, you know, music along with language and math's not one that I really see myself getting into in this lifetime. But you know, I'll dabble. Let's see, math and painting, the science behind art in general, and specific, you know, drawing and painting and circles and focus and developing greater work ethic and composure and grounding and refinement. You know, refinement on many levels, more than just physical, on emotional, you know, not letting emotions sway me so easily when I'm in the midst of them. That's a big thing I've been learning. Letting go, of course, allowing things to happen in the proper time, you know. We're on time, we're always on time, and time itself is a weird one. Parallel universes, the Mandela effect, oh my gosh, I could talk about that. That's a whole nother video that I should probably make soon because I could talk about that for a long time. I like my conspiracy theories, but I also like to keep an open mind to different perspectives. I like to entertain, you know, the skeptic perspective, and I also like to entertain the optimist perspective, you know, and base my beliefs accordingly, you know, with the proper rationality and the proper open-mindedness. So it definitely helps to be able to see things from different lenses, you know, so you're able to just gain a different understanding of what's really going on and what you think is really going on, because nobody really knows what's going on. Maybe like the Ascended Masters know. Maybe they don't even know, but I feel like since reality is so subjective to the human experience, to the egoic experience, to the to the here and now, to this moment, and since our sensibility is so boxed in, you know, since our awareness of what's going on is this, and there's so much going on around us, you know, we are limited to view life in a certain way, and so that's why I say, do we really know what's going on? Because as a human being, I know that I don't know what's really like fully going on. I can give you the hints from what I've studied for so long, and I can, you know, lead you from my own experience, but at the end of the day, endogeny is where you find truth. You find truth within you, and I think that's important because, you know, there are as many worlds as there are perceivers. We're all experiencing something different, you know. For myself, I'm experiencing a multidimensional lifespan that spans throughout time and space and into parallel lives and into parallel universes and timelines that have gone from the past, and like how the past is the future and the future perpetuates through the past, and like there's all these things that I'm able to entertain on a mental note, you know? And through experience, I have had solid evidence, sophisticated evidence that has led me to create my belief structure. But for everybody, you know, for a supporter of a certain presidential candidate, they might not be able to see the scope, you know, the peripherals that I'm seeing because they're so honed in one direction, you know, and even still, you know, my multidimensional experience might even be just a small, tiny little notch in the grand scheme of things, which, you know, I do believe it is. You know, I'm a macrocosm, microcosm in the macrocosm. You know, I'm a hint of a fractal, tip of a fractal, you know, and it's crazy, and it's fun, and it's part of the experience, and I don't need other people's validation of my experience to validate my experience. At one point, I would go through the comments and kind of feel disheartened, like, this guy's talking shit, like, he's calling me crazy, he's calling me this and that, blah, 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 and now I don't give a I don't care, and it's because after going through that, after doubting myself, I kicked myself, you know, my feet from underneath me. I tumbled everything that I had built for myself. And I had a really hard time because I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe in my path. And I suffered. And since then, I've been building and building and building my trust in myself again. And all the evidence, you know, synchronicity, resonance, dreams, and meeting certain people, and, you know, phone calls from my twin flame, random phone calls from my twin flame, you know, getting an apology for something that happened a couple of years ago, you know, on the day after, I was like, I am done, I clear myself, I'm done, you know, and it's just like stuff like that intangible, tangible evidence. It's tangible through experience, but not everybody might see that through my own eyes. You know, they see through their eyes and through their perception of how they've been raised and brought into, you know, their own humanhood. And I've, you know, been going through my initiatory process, and so I am experiencing something different, which I hope that I can relate to some people on this level of just going through the thick of it, going through the dark night, trudging through the darkness, and coming up to the edge, coming up to the fringe, and trickling in between the veil, and just kind of like pulling back little hints of like here and there's, you know, like and bringing that back and integrating it into reality and pushing it outwards, you know, pushing it through the heart and expanding the heart and then pushing it through the heart. And it's huge because I see the ripples that I'm causing through here and there's, you know, and this is all because I'm a medium. I claim none of this as my own. You know, I'm a medium for the greater powers around me, and I'm a steward to this divine energy, and I am here to share this with people, you know, whether they think I'm crazy or not. I'm here to share that there is magic, and it's always been here, and there's been dark forces that have literally tried to stop this mindset from coming into fruition because they knew we were coming before we knew who we were. So they knew we were coming a long, long time ago, and we came here with amnesia. We came here forgetting who we were and where we're from and what we've been through and how many times we've done this and how many times we've gone to the fringe and how many other parallel lives we've been living, initiating ourselves throughout different time, space, realities, and different dimensions, you know? And we are in accordance, we are in harmonic entrainment to our higher selves. And our higher selves are constantly communicating with us, trickling down into our energy fields, into, the fields around us, all the way into the heart. And the heart is really where all the magic happens. It's where everything is projected outward and inward at the same time, the toroidal flux field. And what I'm trying to say is that there is information available, and the information is there for those who seek it. And it's not there for power, it's not there for egoic needs, it's there for the advancement of your soul, body, mind, spirit. And all you gotta do is ask. You just gotta ask the right questions and know that there are fleets of angels or heralds of people, beings, aliens, just waiting to finally get into contact with you. And you have to be open-minded, but you also have to be a little skeptical at the same time. For myself, I was taking psychedelics at festivals, and that's where I feel like I got my psychic attack. I was so high and just got cut down, and then I hovered at this low place for a really long time, and I couldn't figure out what was happening. And so I started clearing my energy spiritually. When I've had these experiences, I'd feel like little black, like clawed, like, little eagles in certain areas of my energy field. Like my hair, oh my gosh, you should have seen my hair. It was bad. I would put my hands around my head, and I could feel, my hands would start to feel tense. I could feel the tension in the dark energy, and I would start to pull away that dark energy, and it felt like I was actually pulling something, and I would, sage and heal myself and do a lot of breathing techniques and spiritual, energy, biofield clearing. Sorry, I have to move as I speak so it comes out easier. But since then I've been healing so much and in such a short amount of time, and I feel like faith and prayer and just belief in the spirit world without faith, belief without doubt that there are beings and spirits around that are helping you. And through faith, through unadulterated faith, I've been healed. During that DMT experience I was telling you about at Burning Man, where I got the gift, I broke through, and I see giant spirits, giants, bigger than art car giant spirits, all parading to the temple, dancing and playing and enjoying. And I saw elephants, and that was like my dream. The elephants are here, they've been here, they're dancing with me, we're going to the temple, we're all going to the temple. And then the wind started blowing, dust storm, whiteout. And so I turned, I faced the sun because I started getting chilly. It was cold, it got really kind of cold. It was sunset time-ish. The sun was going down in the sky. And so I turned, I faced the sun, and it's under this net-like awning, and I opened my eyes. Everything's digitalized, pixelated, and I see the sun, and I'm just like, breathe deep into all of my body, and just get this message. Do you believe in miracles? And I was like, oh yeah. They're like, good, you better, because you're gonna heal. And I knew without a doubt. And they were like, for you, a gift. And I see these giant Egyptian beings, and I was there with them in Egypt and at Burning Man, parallel timelines. And it was like Akhenaten are these two pharaoh, masculine, feminine, giant. They put their hands like this together, one over the other, the man and the woman. And they touched my third eye. And I knew. I opened my eyes again, look around, settle in, smile. As I could feel the spirits coming, proceeding to the temple. I was like, what else do I need to learn? They were like, dance. And so I did. And it was awesome. But yeah, it's heavy stuff. Heavy, enlightening stuff. I don't know if that's, it's lightening. It's something. I'm not sure what it is yet, but it's something. It's leading me somewhere, and I'm here to share my story. And deep down, I really hope that it's leading me back to my twin flame, or maybe another lover. It doesn't really matter if it's my twin flame, because I've let it go. I've let it. I accept if it's not, and I will still be strong without him. But I do really need a lover in my life, because I've been pretty tragic, and I've had a couple of sexual experiences that I really want to. I don't want casual. There's no casual for me. There's nothing there when it's casual, it's release. I'm talking about the refined energy. That I have yet to experience, but I know it's there. It's that archetypal twin flame, or soulmate even. So that's my next step. It's finding that. So wish me luck. Hopefully I'll get somewhere. Until next time.